Are we finishing this story? WWE Undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Oh, it's interesting. They're just calling it WWE Champion there in the graphic. They're dropping the Universal.
Thank God.
Versus the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Night 2, Bloodline rules, as far as I believe. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on this.
Adrenaline in my holes. Something. Lana Rhodes. I think that if we're going to go bloodline rules on this, there's not a shadow of a doubt in my head that we will get the Avengers Endgame ending that you were dreading so much. And I don't think it's going to be the worst part is I don't think it's going to be the Endgame ending that would make most sense. Right? Like, Dustin Rhodes is on Twitter saying that he's involved with this situation a little bit more than people think. And I don't think Tony Khan is as much of a shitbag as some people would like to say he is. I think he would like to give Dustin, especially this being Dustin's last year before he retires. I don't think he would deny Dustin this opportunity. However, like in my head, when I originally started thinking about the Endgame scenario, my scenario would be Dustin Rhodes. It would be Sean Spears, which it's kind of possible at this point. It would be, and you're going to hate me for this, Joey Janela. Because in AEW, Cody was his pro.
Not a chance.
And it would be MJF.
Oh my goodness.
Coming out to save his good friend, the roller coaster. Now I feel like if we get this Endgame ending, and it's just going to be so fucking lackluster and non-exciting. Like, oh, cool, we heard the glass break at WrestleMania. Like every other WrestleMania. Oh, cool. You can't see me. Cool, we get to do that again. It's going to be lame as shit. And it's going to take away from Cody Rhodes winning. And I'm now all of a sudden no longer here.
Yeah, exactly. That's my whole argument. I don't care if it's Stone Cold and Cena. I don't care if it's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Jey Uso and Seth Rollins and anyone who wasn't able to beat Roman before or defeat the Bloodline before. I think no matter what, if you come out of this with a whole schmoz, it'll be Cody couldn't do it by himself. He couldn't finish the story on his own. He needed help. And I don't think that's how you finish the story. I think it's bloodline rules. Again, with my whole theory we've talked about in the last couple of matches, Seth Stewart to come out and help. I will say I'm not entirely against the possibility that Dustin could be there. I think a good spot for him, and maybe even night 1 and night 2. It's not his mom, but to have him next to Mama Rhodes. Yeah. And there's his brother, there's his mom, Cody's brother, Cody's mom.
There's Brandy, there's Teal.
Yeah. So,
because she's been unspoken as hell about this whole storyline.
So,
there's Pharaoh. Pharaoh kind of bites the Rock in the ass, maybe.
That'd be great, yeah. But yeah, that I think you could create a scenario where the family's there and maybe Dustin doesn't get physically involved, but he's there, he's on TV, he's in the row, he got permission for that from Tony. Doesn't necessarily get in the ring, but he gets involved. Maybe, smacks the Rock or something. God. But what?
What if we get a Ric Flair's last match situation? Remember when everyone was like, oh, Charlotte's going to be there because it's her dad's last match and she's going to get involved somehow. And they did get a Flair daughter involved, but it was the one that saw something in Conrad Thompson. And it ends up being Terry Runnels.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. I don't think there's any chance there, but uh yeah, I don't think we get any sort of endgame ending. I think even going back when we talked about the Gunther match, if Gunther wins that match, I could see him really beating down and Sami Zayn. So maybe that could keep Sami Zayn from being able to come out, because that way he gets that heat on Sami. And so now you've got a hurt Sami, you've got an injured Seth, you've got the Rock, you got Bloodline rules. The entire Bloodline will be out there, and Cody Rhodes. It wouldn't necessarily have to be 100% by himself fighting all those people, but I think having a full Avengers assemble, I think would defeat the purpose a little bit too. You want Cody to be the underdog in this as much as possible and to still overcome. And I think that's how we end WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes finally overcomes.
I think Cody Rhodes overcomes, but you can do the end game thing without it directly affecting the match. They could take out the bloodline that's outside of the ring.
Maybe it would depend on how it's done, but yeah, maybe.
Hear me out. There's two ways that WWE can go with this. WrestleMania is in Philadelphia. The headliner of the draft class this year is ECW's very own, from the ECW arena right there in South Philly, Paul Heyman.
The wise man.
You know who comes out and helps Cody? Everybody Paul Heyman still owes money to.
I'd be down for that.
Option number 2. This isn't really an option. This is just optimistically wishful thinking. We all know that the owing money thing was a joke. This is optimistic for me. Could you imagine how butt Lincoln Financial Field will be if all hope looks lost for Cody? All the other Avengers have been beaten down and they're worthless. And you just see a giant LED screen light up full of Burberry.
And look, that his theme song in AEW is not an AEW produced track. They could get that song.
I hate that song so much. Please give him something better. It is the dumbest theme song. And like it's stuck in my head right now because now I'm thinking about it. And it's very catchy in that way, but it is the dumbest theme song. And it sounds like a MIDI track from like the early 2000s.
Right. But at the same time, I wouldn't want that. That'd be a great moment. We go, oh my God. Maybe it would overshadow Cody, but it's MJF. Of course, he's going to try and upstage Cody Rhodes. So there's a story.
His good friend, the roller coaster.
Story there you could tell, and that where MJF, he has this big baby face moment debuting at WrestleMania, helping Cody Rhodes, but could make him a heel long term. I could see that, because I want, if MJF does come to WWE, I want him to be a heel, full on heel. I don't want the kind of tweener baby face that we got here. He can keep some of that character development, but I want him to be a heel in WWE.
I don't know if you remember the beginning stages of AEW.
Not very well.
But
not really. Wasn't watching.
That is exactly the way they introduced MJF into AEW.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, MJF was secretly in the Nightmare family, and Cody was the roller coaster, and they were best friends. But then Brandy started like being like really distrustful of him. And like would catch him saying like different things when MJF think nobody's around. And then he tried to feed Pharaoh chocolate.
Oh.
And that was kind of like the straw in the cap there. And that's when they started their original rivalry. I could see them rehashing it in WWE because again, it was infancy AEW. There wasn't a whole lot of eyes on the product. I mean, unfortunately, I feel like there's less now, but that would be a great story to tell. Of like, you could drop subtle little hints for the hardcore fanboys, But you could just make it seem like they're best of friends, and then all of a sudden flip the script. MJF turns on. We get the MJF that we're good with, especially heading into this Netflix deal.
Right.
And here's why I say that. This is going to be the first time in Raw or SmackDown history, or Raw history, because we had One Night Stand. They didn't have no censors for that. This will be the first time in Raw history that the Raw show is not held down to an FCC violation or a standards and practices violation. There will be no censors. There will be no beeps. There will be nothing of the nature when it comes to Raw and SmackDown. This was recently confirmed this week. So you thought MJF's promos were great in the ring? Let's talk about how good MJF's promos were during the media scrums.
Yeah.
If we can get that MJF on our TV screens every goddamn week, sign me up. I'm sold.
Yeah, I'm in. And now I don't think he's debuting during the main event of Mania, even if he is coming to WWE. And I don't think he's coming to WWE yet. I think he's re-signed with AEW. There's been talk that that's already happened, that it happened before he left. I think he's got a bit of a loyalty to them for at least one more run. We'll see. But yeah, Cody finishes his story at WrestleMania, in my opinion, at the very least. You seem to be more on the fence. You seem to think Roman that there is a scenario in which Roman goes over, though.
I want to see Cody Rhodes finish the story. The Rhodes family is ingrained in my DNA because my grandfather, who got me into pro wrestling, I cried watching Cody Rhodes win the NWA title from Nick Aldis. But I have a feeling that until 2045, we are going to hear that stupid whose theme song also oddly sounds like Cry Me a River when you take the lyrics away from it. And we're going to be acknowledging this mother until, Bobby, you and me are old and grayer than what we already are.
Yeah. Is there a scenario here where, because I don't think Rock turns. There's a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, the Rock's going to turn on Roman." No, I don't think that happens. Is there a scenario where it could be the Rock accidentally costs Roman the match or something like that, and so then now Roman actually is the one to turn on Rock? Or is there some sort of scenario where we could end up with, maybe at WrestleMania next year, when we do get, the match of the Tribal Chief, where Roman Reigns is actually the babyface and The Rock is the heel?
It's possible. Looking at what creative has, or what's been leaked from creative, right? There is a lot of interesting things in the works that I've seen laid out on Twitter from Sean Rossap and people of those nature, all the way through Survivor Series. It's looking like the Survivor Series captains this year are going to be Triple H and The Rock. Not necessarily saying, we all know Triple H can't be involved in the match because of his heart conditions, and it's usually 4-on-4 in War Games anyways. So, if that's a thing, so be it. It's slated later on this year, allegedly, that we're going to get Cody versus The Rock, 1-on-1.
It depends on how much, because we all know how The Rock's schedule is with the movies, but obviously he's invested now in WWE and he's a member of the board, so he has a financial stake in WWE as well now. So maybe he will wrestle more and partake a bit more, but he's what, 51? So
yeah, it looks better than I ever did when I was on steroids in my late 20s. I mean, the dude is a freak of nature, and I want a little taste of the cocktail that
he's 5 years older than Hollywood Hulk Hogan in WCW. I mean,
That's
So,
right.
because he was what 46 when he turned at Bash.
Yeah, didn't we do this whole thing with like AJ
Yeah,
Styles being too old to be
yeah. AJ
champion or
Styles
something?
is only a couple of
Yeah,
years younger than The Rock, which is crazy to think about.
yeah.
But
Which, by the way, both looking like they're in the prime of their lives
mm,
right now. Um, yeah, no, I think because now The Rock's more invested in the company, that he has a little bit of extra skin in the game, as people would like to say. And the fact that, if you're a movie nerd, you kind of know where the industry's heading.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I think The Rock's going to have a lot more free time actually for WWE. He owns XFL and UFL, and all that really means is he's just going to have to make an appearance at a game on a Saturday because they're not doing multiple nights a week like the NFL.
And Danny Garcia is really the one I think running the UFL from behind the scenes. So
Yeah,
his ex Ava's mom.
you know. So, I mean, there's so many possibilities here with what's going to happen with The Rock going down the line, but I think he's going to be on our screens more than people are giving him credit for
Yeah,
coming up.
but to a certain degree, after Mania, less is more. Let's not have him on there, even as often as he has been, which is every couple of weeks. But if you're running up to a SummerSlam match between Cody and The Rock, you know,
You got to have
you're gonna
Cody.
have obviously The Rock's gonna show up more in the 6 weeks ahead of that. So
I think the PLE before SummerSlam, you have The Rock show up and cost Cody the match, to be honest with you.
is that it? You think Cody only holds on to this belt for 5 months or so?
I think that this isn't Cody finishing the story if he wins.
Well, I think Cody wins. He comes out. He's the Universal Champion, or he's WWE Champion. We've dropped the Universal now. He's undisputed WWE Champion, and he comes out. Well, here's the first question: does he come out on Raw or does he come out on SmackDown? Because theoretically, if he wins, he's going to be a SmackDown superstar from here on out. But
I think the role as WWE champion can float between shows. Wasn't that the thing?
not after World Heavyweight
No.
Championship, unless there's a specific reason. But no, pretty much the WWE Champion is going to be SmackDown exclusive. World Champion is going to be Raw exclusive.
Well, then we'll have to see what happens with that. But I do think the number one thing is night one, The Rock's going to hand Mama Rhodes the belt. Night two, Cody Rhodes is going to hand his mom the belt.
Yes, there you go.
I also feel like, though, this is just the chapter in the story. It's going to be like the dusty finish of finishes of a story. We're going to think we're finally going to get some solace and some peace from the bloodline. But I also feel like The Rock's going to be like, listen, I let you sit at the head of the table and you fumbled the ball. Now it's time for the final boss to be the final head of the table and take care of what you screwed up.
You brought up a certain term there. How crazy would it be if Roman retains through a dusty finish? Oh, Cody wins. But he's not champion.
Well, that finishes a story, I guess.
That would get a chuckle out of me, and then we'd all hate it. But
Listen, this is also taking place in Philly, where people are so used to being so close to something and then having their hearts just butt for the last 50 years.
what if you? Maybe we could tease a dusty finish, but then the match restarts and Cody wins somehow.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Like, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce get some TV time. They come out and they're like, no, we can't have it finish like
Maybe
this.
even Triple H, if what you're saying is true with the whole Maybe a little
Oh, the
scenario
Survivor
Survivor
Series thing.
Series thing if
Yeah,
they are going to build to do something there. Yeah.
yeah, I could see that. I can also
Especially if it's
see.
bloodline rules, technically that would be no DQ. So how would you even
Yeah,
really do a dusty finish? But
unless unless the Avengers angle happens and it's a rope break that the referee doesn't catch in time and then realizes it by looking at the replay and restarts the match.
hmm.
Because we are now, again, we're living in the era where people are using the Titantron and everything else to review what's going on, to take fans' thoughts into consideration. What's to say a referee can't do the same? Look up at the
so
screen and be like, "Oh shit!"
so then like a reverse dusty finish. Roman, it looks like Roman
Yeah.
won, and he holds up the belt. Oh, wait a minute, we're restarting the match. So almost a reverse dusty finish, whereas
And
it
then
looks like the babyface won, but he didn't actually win the championship. It was a DQ ending or whatever the case may be. To
they
the opposite.
say third time's the charm, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is Cody's second chance.
Oh, they already established he's not getting a third.
Why not give him? Yeah. Why not give him the third chance though in the second match?
There you go.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by Bomb Media Productions.